I know, I'm going to be really, really careful. So anytime I cook turkeys, I always use these throwaway pans because I don't have a really big enough pan to be able to put a turkey in there. But I also really like these because I can use these to serve the turkey too. But you have to be careful of one thing. This insert, which is stuck on the inside of the pan, is stuck with what looks to be, it's kind of like the liquid cement type glue. So you do have to take this plastic stuff out because you definitely don't want to be eating that. So we take it out and it comes off really easily, and so the pan is nice and clean and ready to go. All right, so we have our pan. We also have our turkey, and depending on how many people you're going to have for Thanksgiving, you might want to consider the size of your turkey. Now this is about a 20-pound turkey, but turkeys can come in any amount of size, anywhere from usually I think about 12 to 13 pounds on the small side. I mean, all the way up to like 30 pounds plus, depending on you know, how big you end up finding the turkey. Usually in the stores, and I got a couple of these at an Aldi right by my house. They had basically 18 to 24 pound turkeys. So I picked up a couple of 20-pound turkeys. So this is a 20-pound turkey. And this will definitely feed my family of 5 with lots of leftovers. Leftovers are really important. That's like one of the best parts of Thanksgiving, right? You eat Thanksgiving on Thursday, and then you eat it on Friday and on Saturday, and hopefully you still have Thanksgiving on Sunday, right? Okay. Now, for my turkeys, I make very, very simple turkeys. I don't like to stuff them. I don't like to, you know, I just like to make them simple, and they turn out really great. So I always have 2 sticks of butter for every turkey that I cook. I also use something called paprika. Have you heard of that before? It's kind of a reddish, smoky pepper, and it has a really good flavor. And I always love the way paprika tastes on the turkey skin when it's crispy. You guys like that part of the turkey? All right, yeah, so paprika is really important. It's also very important regular pepper, because I do like the flavor. So super simple: paprika, salt and pepper, and butter. And I'll show you how I put the turkey together. Now, the first thing we have to do is we have to open up the turkey and we have to clean it a little bit. Okay? Not that it's unclean in the package, but turkeys come frozen. Okay? And they typically, you know, put a lot of water in the package. And you also have some juice from the turkey that kind of seeps out through the freezing process, which is totally normal. So then when it becomes unfrozen, this bag tends to fill up with a lot of water and a little bit of turkey juice and other things that we have to clean out. The other thing that you're going to notice when you clean out a turkey is that there's 2 cavities in the turkey. You have the turkey chest cavity, and that's typically filled with the turkey neck. Does anybody eat turkey necks? Turkey necks are kind of a cultural thing. Not everybody eats turkey necks. I throw them out because I don't eat them. And then on the other side, which is the turkey butt side, there is a small package, and inside the package is the gizzards. Do you know what the gizzards are? Well, it depends. Again, it's a cultural thing, and certain cultures like to eat the gizzards and like to eat the turkey neck. The gizzards are the turkey heart and the liver and some of the other organs on the inside. Now, people will typically take those, they'll dredge them in some flour, they'll cook them up in some oil in the pan, and they'll either eat them directly just like that, or they'll cut them up into really tiny pieces and add them to the stuffing, because there tends to be some fat and some other flavors in there that people like to put into the stuffing. But again, I don't like to use those at all, so I clean those out and I throw them out. So always open your turkey inside the sink, because like I said, remember, when this thing starts to thaw, there's going to be a lot of juice and water and other liquid inside here that we definitely do not want to waterfall and cascade all over your countertops. So we're going to put it into the sink, and then I'm going to take a paring knife, it's a little knife, and just find a loose area of the packaging and just poke a hole in it and just start to carefully peel back the packaging. All right, now I bought these turkeys on Friday last week, and I put them in the refrigerator, and just so you can tell like how long it takes for a frozen turkey to thaw, inside the package, even though it's been in the refrigerator, there's still some ice. So what we're going to do is take the package off, and you can see there's a lot of liquid in the bottom, but I've kept it all in the sink, right? No biggie. We're just going to let that go, all right? No big deal. And we're going to keep the turkey inside the sink, and we're just going to carefully take the packaging and dump it. We don't need the packaging for anything else. Now I'm going to take water, and I'm going to fill the cavity. What the water is going to do is help the ice to melt a little bit more so we can clean out the cavity. Now remember what I said was inside the cavity? What was inside the cavity? A little louder. The turkey neck, right? Now you guys know that turkeys and chickens, they have kind of long, weird necks, right? So when I pull this thing out, I don't want everybody to freak out. That is the turkey neck. The head's up here, and that's the neck. And I'm just going to clean it off, but I'm going to get rid of it because I don't deal with turkey necks. All right. So we're going to fill up the cavity, and we're just going to wash the turkey. Do not use soap and water. Do not use soap. Just water, just plain water. And we're going to fill it, and we're going to dump it. And we're going to fill it again. And dump it. And we're just going to look in like the different crevices to see if there's any ice. And we just want to clean it out. Just ice. All right? Now, see there's a little bit of ice right there in the wing. A little bit of ice on the skin. We want the turkey to cook evenly. So we're going to keep all that stuff together. Now, turn the water off so you can hear me a little bit better. This area up here is the cavity. This area back here, see that package? This is the package right here with the gizzards. Do you want to see what they look like? Yeah. Okay, that's fine. All right, so that's the heart. Yeah, turkey heart. This turkey had a heart. I mean, and then you have the liver. Okay, it's just the organs. That's it. All right. So what do I do with these typically? Throw them away. But what do some cultures use that for? Frying and eating, or stuffing, or some other things. Same thing with the turkey necks. All right. Turkey necks can be cooked up and eaten as well, and some people just really like them, and that's okay. I mean, as I look around the room, I see a lot of different cultures in here, and there's a lot of different people that eat a lot of different things that you may not even know people are eating at home, right? As I've met students from all over the world, I've learned about things like pacha. Have you heard of pacha? No? I've heard about things like haggis. I've heard about all kinds of very interesting food items that are a lot different than what we're used to here in America, right? Okay, so clean this part out, make sure there's no ice in there, and there isn't. This is pretty clean. And that's it for that. So I'm going to just dump out all the water, make sure all the water's cleaned out. We don't really want water in the cavity, but so now I'm going to take the turkey, I'm going to place it inside our roasting pan. Now, how many people think you guys could do what I've done so far? Pretty simple, right? Nothing crazy. Okay. Can I use one of these towels? Oh, thank you. Okay, so I'm just going to wipe my hands dry. All right. So now is the part that we're going to start to do some things to the turkey to make it taste really good. Now, you don't have, in my opinion, you don't have to do much to a turkey to make it taste good. Turkeys just taste good. They really do. I've always preferred turkey and chicken over a lot of other types of meat. So I'm not really concerned too much about doing a whole lot to it, and that's why I just have these 3 spices and a little bit of butter. What I'm going to do next, though, is a little strange, and I don't want people to freak out. You guys have strong stomachs, right?
Kind of.
Okay, I'm just kidding. It's really not that crazy. All right, so I'm going to take the butter out, and I've got sweet cream butter. I like to use butter that is salted, just because I think the extra salt tastes good. So I'm going to cut these into cubes. All right, so now I've got my butter ready. Pretty simple, right? So what I'm going to do, now this is a little hard because if you haven't noticed, I have gigantic hands. This is not easy, all right? But I've perfected this over the years. What I like to do is I like to take the skin and lift it up off the breast. And I'm going to show you how I do it. I take a little knife and I cut just a tiny, tiny, tiny slit there. That's it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hands and I'm going to work them underneath the skin across the top of the breast. Now, it's a little weird because it feels weird, right? But I'm going to make, basically what I'm going to be making is a butter pocket on top of the turkey. Yeah, okay? So I'm just going to start to work my hands in. Now, you have to kind of push your hands in and swipe, and what it does is there's the skin and then a little film that sticks the skin to the breast. You want to push in and feel for that film and then just push it away and lift it up. So to create a pocket. And I want to create a pocket as far back as I can. Now every time I do this, because my hands are so big, I end up sometimes ripping the skin. So I'm going to try very hard not to do that. Okay? So here we go. I'm just going to swipe and try my best to go as far back as I can. Anybody with smaller hands, I've tried to get Sage to do that. He's my second grader, 7-year-old, and he doesn't mind doing this because I've had him do this before. But this butter pocket, what it's going to do is it's going to hold the butter against the turkey breast for the entire time that it's cooking. And that helps to baste the turkey. It also helps to flavor it because butter just tastes good, right? You like butter? I love butter. I think butter is probably the greatest invention in the history of mankind. All right, over here. Every morning I eat 4 eggs for breakfast. That's every single morning I eat 4 eggs. And my eggs are always cooked in about at least 1 tablespoon of butter, which is about a pad like that, because butter just tastes good. All right, so I think I've done okay. I have a little rip here. I'm not concerned about that because I can just do this. Now, I don't have any little, what do you call them, those meat pins? You probably don't know what that is. It's a little tiny pin with a loop on the top that I can take and fold over and just push in right here. That will keep the skin good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take about 3/4 of the butter and I'm going to push it into this side. So we just take the little pads and push and push and push and get it in there. I'm going to take the other bunch and push into the other side and just try to get this all over the place. All right, and then I'm going to kind of close up the skin. So now I've got all the butter right on top. Then all that butter, as this starts to cook, you know, obviously we're going to cook it at about 350 for quite some time. That butter is going to start to melt. And as the butter starts to melt, the skin is going to tighten up because the butter is going to liquefy. And as the skin tightens up and the butter liquefies, it's going to hold it all against the breast. I take the rest of the butter and I just throw it into the cavity. Now, there's two different kinds of meat, right, with a turkey. There's white meat, which is the breast, and there's dark meat, which is the underneath, the thigh, and the other parts of the turkey. It's important for that butter to melt in and also get all over that dark meat too, which is my favorite. Who's got a preference? Who likes the white meat? Who likes the dark meat? Oh, I think the dark meat's so much better. And I like the dark meat because it's kind of oilier and it has a much deeper flavor. So now the only other things that we need to do, because we've already done our butter, is to take our salt and pepper. Let me wash my hands first. How many people know how important it is when you're playing with poultry to wash your hands? Super important. And why is that? What does poultry have that we need to be careful of? It has some bacteria typically on it, and we have to make, what is it called? It's the Salmonella? Yeah. So we want to be super careful that anytime we're dealing with raw poultry, that we're washing our hands a lot before we touch other things. Because if I touch the turkey and then I touch a whole bunch of spices and I go back to the turkey and then I go back to the spices, and then meanwhile, what do we typically do while we're cooking during Thanksgiving? We're snacking, right? Eating the cheese ball or whatever else that's big in your family. We have a cheese ball recipe that's pretty good too. So I'm just going to take salt. I'm going to lift the turkey. I want to get salt inside the cavity too, so I'm going to do that. Lots of salt, that's always good. And then I'm going to take the salt and I'm just going to get it all over the outside of the turkey as well. Same thing with the pepper. Oh, I missed a step. Take one of the pads of butter and rub it on the outside. Why am I going to do this? What's that? That's right, so that the spices will stick to it and stay put. All right, so we've done that. Wash my hands again. Pepper. And then the paprika. Now I like to color my turkey red. So I'm going to use quite a bit of this stuff. And then the other thing that these spices do is, as the turkey cooks, what's going to well up on the bottom of this pan? All that turkey juice, right? And we use our baster and we baste it. As we're basting it, that basting juice is also mixing with the spices and starts to help to flavor the turkey as well. So if you can believe it, I am done preparing this turkey. I have cleaned it out, I've washed it out, I've made sure there isn't any residual ice on the inside. I've cleaned out the neck and I've cleaned out the giblets out of the other side of the turkey. I've rubbed it in butter. I've created this butter pocket so I can put more butter against the breast, so as this starts to cook, it's going to flavor the turkey. And then at the end, I've put all of these different spices, simply salt and pepper and paprika, all around the outside of the turkey. And so now this guy is ready to cook. That's it. The turkey is prepared. Do you guys have any questions? Do you think you could do this at home? Pretty simple, right? And turkeys, especially this time of the year, aren't too expensive. I got this turkey for 87 cents a pound, and it's 20 pounds. So how much was this turkey approximately? Just give me it's about 16 bucks, right? And how many of you have gone out to dinner with a family of 5 and spent $16 for your main dish? Maybe you have, right? But for something like this turkey, this is pretty inexpensive to feed a family, especially on a special holiday. Now, how do we cook this turkey? Does anybody know, has anybody ever cooked a turkey? The last step is we need to put this thing in an oven, right? Now, typically it's 20 minutes a pound at 350 degrees. So at 20 minutes a pound, at 20 pounds, how many minutes is that? How many minutes is it? 20 pounds, 20 minutes a pound. 400 minutes, right? So divide 400 by 60. So so typically it would take anywhere roughly around a little over 6 hours. Okay? But the funny thing about turkey is that even for a 20-pound turkey, sometimes they take a bunch less. So what am I going to start to do at about 4 hours every 20-30 minutes? I am going to baste it, but what else am I going to do? I'm going to take its temperature, okay? Because I need to make sure that this turkey reaches a temperature of about 170 degrees. 160 degrees. I want to make sure that when I stick the temperature or the thermometer into the turkey, into the deepest part of the thigh and into the breast, that all of that meat has been cooked properly. Okay? Do you ever want to cook a frozen turkey? Absolutely not. There's just no way to do it. Okay? Now there are other ways to cook a turkey too. Has anybody ever had a deep fried turkey? So there are these big contraptions that are like this round and this deep. You fill them up with oil and you start the heater underneath. You take your turkey and you carefully slide it down into the deep fryer, and it takes a lot less time. I've had deep fried turkey and it turns out amazing. The skin is super crispy, the inside is very moist, and I've never had anything like it before. But I really enjoy baking my turkeys, and so that's what we're going to be doing tomorrow morning. So you're going to be smelling some baked turkey here in the building tomorrow morning. So I hope you've enjoyed the presentation. I really appreciate you guys for letting me come in and share with you how I get turkey ready for Thanksgiving. And yeah, just thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah.